Any scientific study of anything involves gathering information or data, analyzing that data logically, and classifying and sorting it out, and then coming to reasonable conclusions. That's what a scientific study is all about. So, for example, the animal kingdom scientifically was studied with gathering all the information of all the different kinds of animals that are living in this planet. The data is gathered, analyzed and classified, and that is the study of zoology. Then the study of plants is called botany, and so on. So all these secular sciences are based on that premise. Now, this scientific knowledge by itself does not add any more value or utility value to us, just the pure scientific knowledge. It is the application of this scientific knowledge for practical purposes that gives us the value. For example, electricity was invented in the 10th century. Man knew all about electricity in the 10th century. The anode and cathode and resistance and all those things, and everything was known. But it took them another 800 years. It was only in the 19th century that the electrical age was brought in, because it took that long a time to develop the technology, how to apply that scientific knowledge into practical purposes, how that electricity can be stored, and from the storage, how the electricity can be transmitted to different areas, and from there, how can they be safely be given to each household so that it can be used for various purposes in the house. All this was technological development that took 800 years. So it is science plus technology that is important, not science alone. Now this is about the objective world of nature. All the sciences are, the secular sciences study nature and what is out there, the objects. The spiritual part, the subject in us that is experiencing all these objects, is studied by our ancient rishis, and they have come up with their own science and technology about the subject that experiences all these objects. And that science and technology of life of the subject is called Vedanta. Now that doesn't mean that Vedanta is the only religion, or Hinduism is the only religion that explains about life. In essence, all religions talk about the same thing, that there is one God who pervades everything, and we are all manifestations of that one Lord, and so on. The uniqueness about Vedanta is that it goes a little deeper in this analysis, and it gives in logical, simple explanations as to what this life is all about and how to deal with life in general, so that we can make our lives purposeful while we are living here. Now, Sri Shankaracharya, his picture is right there, is the greatest missionary in Hinduism. A missionary is one who travels far and wide, propagating the scriptural knowledge to as many people as possible. That's who a missionary is. And the greatest missionary in Hinduism was Sri Shankaracharya. He was not only great in that manner, he lived only for 32 years, but he accomplished a lot in that short span of life. Now, he had given invaluable commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutras and the Upanishads. Not only that, he had also given or written simple introductory books so that an average seeker like you and me could be introduced into the study of Vedanta. The most elementary of those books that he had written is called Tattva Bodha. All the basic information is given in that book. All the technical terms are explained. And then the next stage, where a little bit more elaborate, is called Atma Bodha. In the Atma Bodha, the same facts that are in Tattva Bodha is given, but in a more elaborate manner. It's like a painter painting a small picture and taking the same picture and painting it on a bigger canvas. The next step and the greatest of his introductory talks is the Vivek Chunamani, where it's an elaborate exposition of the Vedantic principles and facts. Now, Viveka is discrimination. Discrimination between the real and the unreal. Discrimination between the finite and the infinite. The permanent and the impermanent. That is the discrimination. That's the Viveka. Chuda is the crown. Money is jewel. So Viveka Chudamani means the crest jewel of discrimination. The highest, jewel of discrimination. And that's what Vedanta, Viveka Chudamani is all about. Now, in order to accomplish anything in life, we need to have some self-respect. Now, if I think that I am a useless person, I am not capable of doing anything, I can embark on any project. You can be sure that I will never accomplish anything because I have no confidence in myself. I have no respect for myself. So one must have self-respect in order to accomplish anything. Our Gurudev says that even when you perform a puja, you are sitting in front of a deity at home with flowers and everything there. The first flower that you take is not for the deity, you put it on yourself. Why? Because you need to respect yourself first before you can worship the Lord. So, first you pay respect to yourself. The Gurudev also gives this example. The boy, when he was a baby, his parents died in an accident. Both of them died. And there were no interested relatives. So he was put in an orphanage. And he grew up in the orphanage. And at the age of 16, the orphanage told him, according to our rules, this is all we can do for you, now you are on your own. The boy is kicked out of the orphanage at age 16. Now he's out there on the street, he doesn't know anything about how to take care of himself. By evening he is going to be hungry. So what is he going to do for food? He is going to steal or do something. So then he learns all kinds of means to survive. It doesn't matter what means he does, whether it is criminal or not, whether it involves harming somebody or killing somebody, he wants to survive. He has no respect for anything. Why? Because he has no respect for himself, because nobody cares for him, so why should he care for anybody else? So he becomes a hardcore criminal. That's how he becomes a criminal and spends time in jail, comes out, does the same crime again, goes back to jail, and so on. In the same way, let's say there's another boy who grows up with his parents, and his parents died, his mother died when he was about 10 years old, and the father died when he was 16. Now again, at age 16, this boy has nobody in this world. He is also on the street. He also steals and does things to take care of himself. But there is a line below which he won't go down. He will do things to take care of himself, but he will not commit certain crimes below a certain level. Why? Because he has developed some kind of self-respect. It had been instilled into him by his parents as he was growing up, that that he is important, his feelings are important, that he is a useful member of the society and so on. So that he has some self-respect. So he would do some bad acts, all right, but he will not go below a certain line. So then somebody can ask, hey, if you don't do that, you are going to starve. He said, that's okay. I'll rather starve and die than do that, because there is a line below which he won't go. That's the self-respect that we are talking about. So Shankaracharya says, this human birth that you and I have is very, very rare. And if you tell that to an average person, he'll say, what are you talking nonsense for? That is our main problem. This whole universe is overpopulated. There are 8 billion people out here, and I'm one of those 8 billion. So what's the big deal of being a human being? Shankaracharya says, if you take the whole life forms in this whole world, the total life, including the worms, the mosquitoes, everything, our lives, even the blade of grass, it is alive. If you take all these lives all over this universe, and the total universe, out of which you take the human life is only 0.02% of the total life that is available on this universe. So you can see that human life is very rare. Why? Because it's only 0.02% of the total life available. So anything that is rare is precious. Diamond is precious only because it is very rare. Air is present everywhere. Who cares about air? Nobody is. That's not precious. But diamond is precious. Why? Because it is very rare. So in the same way, since human life is only 0.2% of the total life, human life is very, very important. So the word they use is Tudulaba. To get a human life is very, very rare. And you and I have got it. So give yourself that respect to yourself, that you have earned this to get a human life in this world. Now, consciousness, as we say, is present all over. It pervades everything. There is consciousness in everything in this universe. It is present even in the mineral life, the rocks and the mountain, the water, the stone. The consciousness is in there, but unfortunately the stone is not aware of that consciousness. In the plants, there is some manifestation that it is aware of consciousness. Why? Because it responds to moisture and sunlight. In the animal kingdom, that consciousness is more manifest because it shows a wider range of awareness of the environment. The human beings are even more conscious. Why? According to Vedanta, human beings are superior to all other living beings only because human beings are the only living beings that are capable of discriminating in their minds. And with the discrimination, they are able to control certain things, not to do certain things and do certain things as a choice, and thereby conserving energy which otherwise would be wasted into unnecessary activities. And that conserved energy, human minds are capable of directing into pursuit of higher realms and maybe take a peep into the divine realm out there. That capability is only in the human mind. And on that respect, Vedanta says human beings are superior to other living beings. But our secular world says human beings are superior because we can build machines. And you and I know we have built machines all right. But do you know what those machines are doing? It's only causing misery and mayhem and annihilation of others. That's what's going on around the world, where we build machines to kill others, to destroy property and things that belong to others. That's not superiority. Superiority, according to Vedanta, is in our minds where we are capable of doing better things. So in that respect, we are superior. Okay, so now human beings are very rare and you have this ability to function as a human being in this world. Of these 0.2% human beings, how many of us have the quality called manliness? Now, this does not mean that women are not, women or the womanliness is downplayed. Man and woman is, a physical separation. Vedanta does not address the human body, it addresses the mind. So when Vedanta talks about manliness, it talks about masculine qualities. There are masculine qualities and feminine qualities. The masculine qualities are courage, strict following of discipline, determination, ready to take risks, adventurousness, unemotional, relatively unemotional, objective thinking, and faces challenges and leadership. These are the masculine qualities. What are the feminine qualities? Soft-heartedness, being emotional and sentimental, being attached, concerns about safety and security, overprotective, and sticking to familiar territory. These are feminine tendencies and qualities. There are many women who have masculine qualities. There are many men who have feminine qualities. Just because I have a beard and a mustache does not mean that I am manly. In fact, some people grow a mustache and beard just to let the world know that I am manly. That is not manliness. Manliness is in these qualities. So, Vedanta requires manly qualities or masculine qualities. Why? Because you are trying to make a change from your present day existence, the way of attitudes and doing things. You are going to make a change from this to something better. For that, you need self-discipline, self-control, very strictness in your own mannerisms and behavior, determination and the courage of conviction to understand certain things and stick to that. So these are things that are required in pursuit of spiritual knowledge. So out of the few human lives that you and I have, few of us only have these manly qualities. Okay, so let's say that somebody has the human birth and has manly qualities. Out of that, only a few have humane qualities. Humane qualities of love, compassion, helpfulness, tenderness towards other people's and empathy towards others. These humane qualities, they are basically described as Santosh, Samadhana and Shanti. Santosh meaning contentment, Samadhana is spirit of self-surrender, and Shanti is peace arising from right knowledge. So these are the humane qualities. Very few have these. So we may have a human birth and have masculine qualities, and we should also have humane qualities of this kindness, compassion, love, empathy for others, and so on. Let's say somebody has all these qualities. Out of that, how many of us have the ability to uncompromisingly follow the narrow path of morality? Just live a good, strict, moral life without, getting distracted and getting, diverted into sensuous lifestyle. How many of us have that capacity to follow that strict, narrow path? Very few of us have that. Out of all that, so you have a human life, you have masculine qualities, you have humane qualities, and you are able to follow a strict moral life. Out of that, how many of us have the ability to live uncompromisingly and live a life of worship and devotion, doing all the things that we are supposed to do, taking care of our responsibilities, and then live a life of devotion and worship? Very few of us have that. Even when we have that, how many of us have the right understanding as to why we are doing all these things? Very few of us have that. Because somebody might be having all these qualities and doing a normal, good, moral life and doing worship and prayer, doing pujas every day, and you ask him, why are you doing all that? He'll say, well, my father did that and his father did that, so I'm just following whatever they did. They have no understanding as to why they are doing all that. So very few people have that understanding as well. Now, let's say somebody has even that understanding as well. And having had that understanding, how many of those have the ability to discriminate between the real and unreal? That you get by studying the scriptures and doing some deep reflection and analysis, and then you will come to understand what is real and what is unreal and so on. Let's say that somebody has done all that. You have followed all the scriptural injunctions, studied the scriptures, and now you have an understanding as to what is real and unreal. Out of all that, how many of us have a personal experience of the higher? After knowing all the things about the real and unreal, and having studied the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and the Brahma Sutras and everything, you have a good understanding as to what is real and what is unreal. But how many of us have the experience, the real experience of the higher? Very few. Now, all these steps are given not to discourage us and say that only a very few people have this ability to do all these things. These are the steps that we need to pursue little by little so that we rise higher and higher in the spiritual ladder, so to speak. So that's what Shankara is trying to tell us, that these are the paths that we have to follow, or steps that we have to follow to reach that higher goal. These are the steps of evolution that we have to follow to get to total liberation. Now, after hundreds of crores of life, we have come with this hunger for spiritual knowledge. So we need not get discouraged that we don't have most of these things, because as the scriptures say, Bahunam Antanam Ante. After many, many thousands of lives, we will get to that point. But that is not a pessimistic thought. We may have already gone through many thousands of lives already. Now we may be right at the final stages now. All it takes is a little more effort and we would get there. So that is the positive attitude that we are supposed to have. So you and I are now not only born as human beings and have some of these qualities, we have this urge to get spiritual knowledge. Or else why would you be sitting here? Why would I be standing here? Because we have this thirst for spiritual knowledge. That is something that comes after several thousands of years of living life one after the other, that we come with this thirst for higher knowledge. So we are fairly up there, and that is the positive thought that Shankara wants us to have, for all the seekers to have. Manushyattvam. Manushyattvam is the humane qualities. Mumukshatvam. Mumukshatvam is the burning desire to reach that higher goal. And Mahapurusha Samsaya, meaning a guru will come in your life. You can never go in search of a guru. You cannot say, I want to find a guru and go to India and go to Rishikesh and then look around. There are many sadhus around there, and then you see, okay, that's a good, tall, good-looking sadhu there, so maybe I'll take him as my guru. You don't pick a guru like that. You stay where you are in your life, in your station in life where you are, and you practice all these things that are told to you by the scriptures. The guru will come to you. Gurudev gives the example of a flower. The flower, when it's a bud, all it needs is to stay where it is and open up. And no flower that had opened up will ever wither away without getting pollinated. The bud cannot say to itself, what if I open up and no bee comes to pollinate me? So I'll wait till a bee comes around, and when I see a bee, I'll open up. No. The flower, all it needs is to open up wherever it is, and a bee will come. Why? Because when the flower opens up, it has bright colors which attracts the bees. Not only that, the flower also emanates certain fragrance. That fragrance goes in the breeze, and bees in the general area will smell that and then come towards the flower and pollinate that flower. Suppose there is a flower up there in the mountain, way up there. One flower up in the mountain. No bee ever comes there. So what does that flower do? Gurudev says, Lord Shiva has to come as a bee and pollinate. Because no other bee is coming to pollinate, but he has to come and pollinate and then go back. That will happen. It is a guaranteed thing. Wherever you are, you just open up. The Guru will come to you with the right knowledge to give you, and then you will be able to pursue your spiritual growth. So these three qualities are very rare, and if somebody has it, what are these qualities? The humane qualities and the burning desire to reach something higher, and you have the guidance of a guru who is assisting you or helping you with your spiritual knowledge. If you have these three, don't worry about how you got it. Just know that these are the Lord's blessings to you. And if you have it, then you got it. If having got a human life and you have the masculine temperament and you have learned the scriptures, by doing all that, you get a glimpse of these higher possibilities. After getting a glimpse of these higher possibilities, if you don't pursue that anymore and live a normal sensual life here, Shankara says you are committing suicide. Why? Because you have a human life. You have the masculine qualities, meaning that courage of conviction, determination and all that. And you have humane qualities, love, compassion and so on. And you have studied the scriptures and you know that there are some higher possibilities. But yet you choose not to pursue them. You are committing a suicide by not pursuing. Do your duties as best as you can, practicing self-control, remembering the Lord always, and study your scriptures. Meditate regularly. Do not despair seeing others by looking at others who are performing rituals on a daily basis, following the scriptural injunctions very closely. You look at them and then you say, I'm not like them. I wish I could be like them. And then there are others who you see are very well versed in the scriptures. They are chanting and they are reading the scriptures, and you look at them and you say, I wish I could be like them because I don't have any idea what these scriptures say. Shankara says, do not despair about these things. You just do what you know. Follow your basic things. Do your duties as best as you can. Practice self-control. Remember the Lord always and study your scriptures. And meditate. Do not despair, seeing others performing rituals, chanting mantras and doing karma yoga, etc. Be willing to change your routine and pattern if they are not producing desired results. If we are doing our rituals on a daily basis, rituals meaning we have a certain pattern of life that we are used to. You get up in the morning, you do your prayers or whatever, and get ready and then go for work and then come back and do certain things, and you are satisfied, this is the way I'm leading my life. But then you find that this lifestyle is not taking you higher spiritually. Shankara says, be prepared to change that. Do not get fixed in certain rituals and routine. Be ready to change. If it is not producing results, change the routine. Try different methods by which these things can be changed. Karma yoga, wealth, study, all those things won't take you there. Then what should I do? Shankara says you can do all this karma yoga and worship and all that and do charitable work and so on. It will not take you up there. Then what am I supposed to do? He says, sannyasya, give up sense pleasures. That doesn't mean you give up your family, your wife and children, you give up your job and then you go to the Himalayas. Why? Because the scriptures say, give up everything, sannyasya. That's not what the Lord says. Giving up, how can I give up something that I don't have? I am supposed to give up my job. Who says that that job is mine? It was there. I happened to, get that job. How can I give up my wife? She is not mine to give up. So suppose I am in a good mood and I say, since you have been coming to the temple very often, I donate this temple to you. How can I donate this temple to me when the temple does not belong to me? I can only give something that I have. So I cannot give up something that I don't have. So, what does the Lord say when He says, Sanniyasya, give up? Give up your bad habits, your bad tendencies. Sanniyasya, give up sense pleasures. You cannot give up something that is not yours. So, you are not asked to give up your wealth, family, etc. You give up the joy that you get out of all these. Suppose you have a lot of wealth, a nice house, a nice car, and a good family, and a good job, and all that. You are not asked to give up any of those things. What Shankara says is, give up the joy that you get out of all these. Now, how can I give up the joy? Again, the Lord says, it is not the joy that you give up. You give up your mental evaluation of that joy. You know, our mental evaluation of the joy is, for example, I experience something good. Let's say that I go to a restaurant and I have a fantastic meal. And the meal was so good that I say, I wish I could go and have that meal every single day. Now I enjoyed the meal, that is the joy that I got. But my mental evaluation is that I wish I could do this on a daily basis. That is my mental evaluation. The scriptures say, give up that mental evaluation. If it is there, you enjoy it. If it is not there, it's okay. Have that kind of an attitude. So you are not asked to give up the joy, you are not asked to give up whatever that you have. You have all those things, you enjoy all those things, but give up that mental evaluation of that joy so that you don't crave for that thing all the time. You give up the joy you derive from them. Now, spriha is the clinging attachment to that joy. Give up your personal evaluation of the sense pleasure. The Guru cannot redeem you. You alone need to do it through study of the Shastras and practicing self-control. And doing various spiritual sadhanas, one comes to view the world correctly and gets established in yoga. When you say get established in yoga, means getting the mind and intellect integrated. Right now, our mind and intellect are not integrated well. Why? Because the intellect says certain things and our mind says something else. If the intellect says, don't do it, the mind says, oh, forget it. Just do it just this one time. Because it's so nice. It's enjoyable, it's pleasurable. The intellect says, don't do it. So there's no integration between mind and intellect. When the intellect says, don't do it, the mind says, okay. That's called integration. That kind of an integrated mind is needed for higher pursuits in spirituality. Reduce overexcitement in life. Reduce wasteful expenditure of energy and lofty expectations and unintelligent desires. Good and sincere work will lead noble results. In the sense, we indulge in fantasies about the future. We think we would be happier if we get such and such things, and and we go after that. For example, if I say, if I win the lottery and I get $3 million from the lottery, then I'm going to buy a nice house and I get a nice car there. And these are all unrealistic desires and lofty expectations. Shankara says, don't have those things because it is wasteful of your energy. Lead a normal and a good moral life. There would be reward for that. And those rewards will guarantee you that your life would be content and purposeful. It is guaranteed. If you live a normal, moral, good life, the fruits of that kind of a lifestyle will be more than sufficient for you to live a happy and contentful life. Sanyasya sarva karmani. Stop all selfish work. Sanyasya sarva karmani means don't give up all work. Give up only selfish work. That's what the Lord says. Brahman is with us always, but our mind is focused outwardly. And it does not realize it. All spiritual sadhanas make our minds contemplate. First, clean the vessel. Now, if you take a vessel that is dirty and put milk into it, in no time that milk will get spoiled and it won't be consumable after that. So if you want to get the milk, first clean the vessel. Once the vessel is clean, then you pour the milk. That milk is available for you to consume and you will be okay. In the same way, the mind, if it is dirty, there is no point studying spirituality with a dirty mind. First, clean your mind by following the sadhanas, the spiritual sadhanas. When the mind is clean, then you put spiritual knowledge, it will produce good results. How can we reach God by vichar? Vichar means study and reflection. So how can you, by studying and reflection, how can you reach God? It gives the same example of the snake and the rope. If you see you're walking in the night in the roadside and you see something coiled up there, and in the dim light of the road, you think it is a snake. What the scriptures advise is, when you think it is a snake, take a few minutes to investigate that a little bit. Is that really a snake or is it a rope? You watch it very closely. Now, if it is a snake, how come it is standing still and not moving around at all? How come it is doing this and all that kind of, vichar meaning reflection. You are taking time to investigate. And the more you do that, the more you will come to apprehend that that is really a rope and not a snake. So vichar can take you there. No one can judge another. All these things are given not so that you can judge somebody. Use this knowledge to judge yourself. And with this, the introductory part of Vivek Chunamani has been given. We have a